Well, hello everyone. It's Dr. Lauren Baker with Animal Ranch Care, and I'm going live early today because I just found out that Jamie's going live at 4 p.m. and I don't want to miss that or interfere with the live that I have going on. So, I did a live earlier today. If you didn't see it, it was about my nutrition cabinet, and I cleaned all that out. That was a project. It's a lot of projects are going on around here. Today, we have 9 projects that we're going to accomplish. So after this one, we're after I do this live, I'm going to bathe Dexter outside. It's a pretty day. Tim's taking him on a walk right now. So a lot of projects at the new house and a lot of things that are long overdue. So, been working since I woke up at 8 o'clock this morning. And if you saw me clean out the nutrition cabinet, then you saw a lot of things. It was very, very good to go over a lot of that nutrition with you all and have you all see what I was doing there. So, like I said, I'm going live at 3:30 because Jamie announced that she's going live at 4, and I didn't want to interfere with that and also want to see what the secret is that they've been holding on to for a month. So, that'll be fun at 4 o'clock to see. So today, for story time, well, before I dive into story time, I've got a great story to tell you guys. It's really funny. It's really, really funny. Like you're gonna laugh so hard. But I just want to say, since I got off the cabinet nutrition cleaning, was meal prepping. So I've been meal prepping for the past 3 hours for carnivore. And I went on Pinterest to find recipes. So I'm going to tell you the recipes that I just made, and then I'll dive into story time. So I made ground beef with cheese and bacon, and it's a cheeseburger bowl. So I made 2 cheeseburger bowls. Then I made cream cheese with ground beef and beef tallow, and that's like a beef stroganoff. So I made 2 of those. What else did I make? Oh, I made veal meatballs. So it was veal mixed with pork rinds, shredded cheese, and a powder that I thought was garlic powder, only to find out that after I was done making it, I made it with onion powder, which I hate onions, and that gave Handsome Tim a great laugh. He was laughing so hard because I hate onions. So, it tasted good though. Made the meatballs, the veal meatballs in the air fryer, and they turned out really good. They're really tender. And then, I made an egg salad that was carnivore style. So I made boiled eggs that I diced up, and then I mixed the egg yolks with bacon grease and a little bit of cream cheese, some salt, and a little bit of liquid from some green olives. And that turned out really good as well. So I made all the meal preps. I just finished. It was like 3 hours of work. It's very grueling. My fingers are all wrinkled from washing my hands so much. But didn't want to miss Storytime Live. So for Storytime today, we're going to talk about a horse named Star. And Star is a 17-year-old um, ex mounted patrol officer. And she has now being ridden and was sold to a young lady who's about, let's just say she's 19 years old. And she's 19-year-old girl. Well, her mother knows nothing about horses. Nothing about horses. So she is a city girl. She's never ever been to the country. So this is a whole new world for them to buy a horse and never be around horses before. So when I get there, she doesn't tell me that she's a city girl, but I could tell she just took a shower, and I could tell she was in like a sundress, sleeveless sundress, and she had sandals on, and her hair was blow dry. And her daughter was all excited to tell me about the horse. She's wonderful. She's awesome. We're here to have you help her and her body and get her moving. And, I want to know everything about her, and everything you find, let me know. I'm really excited. And so she was watching me to work on the horse. I did the hand sweeping over both sides, which I do twice. And when I was hand sweeping over the horse, I noticed that she had some trauma. Now, if she's a mounted patrol officer, she's a sheriff, we can imagine that she's seen, what she's stepped over, what she's been through. She had a cut on the front of her right shoulder, a cut on the side of her shoulder. They almost look like knife wounds, like stabs. And then her right shoulder blade was raised up and overdeveloped, and she had what appeared to be an old fracture in that area. And I could feel all these traumas with my hand. And welcome, come on in. So I felt all this trauma in her shoulder and the front. And so I pointed that out. And the young girl said, "Do we have to euthanize her? Do we have to put her down?" I said, "No, we don't put a horse down just because they have trauma like that. That's just more for me to know so I can help her." She was really relieved to find out that we didn't have to euthanize her horse. And not that I would, but that she didn't have to. So it was really sweet to her to, watch and be so concerned about this sweet horse. So this horse is a sorrel. She's like a light brown color, and she's really muscular. And I noticed that she has a sloping in her low back, and there's some bony changes in her sacrum. And I feel like she fell back out of a trailer or something like that at some point. The middle lower part of her back is roached up, and that means that it does this. So it raises up, and they call this a roach. And it's roached up in four areas in her low back. Also, maybe she fell back out of a trailer and that popped up. It's supposed to be flat, but it was very raised. I don't I tell them, I'm not able to change the way that things look and as far as the bone goes, but it is chiropractic is all about freeing up motion within a certain reason. You can't change the way bones look. You can't change the trauma that was there. If she has a cut in her shoulder and a cut in the side of the shoulder blade, you're not changing anything like that. So I made sure they understand that because this is their first time. Now, I was introduced to them by their horse trainer. The horse trainer is also a client of mine. So the horse trainer came to be there. And it was really great to have her there and to coach them along. I proceeded to, rub all over the horse and figure out all the things that I needed to adjust. And I said, "Okay, well, let's go ahead and adjust." So we started working on, I started with the tail and I worked my way up. This is going to be so funny. I could not wait to tell y'all this. So the tail, I started there and I released the ligament in the tail and I'm moving her side to side and she's rocking with me and I start to pump the pelvis and check the legs, and I found that she had misaligned both back stifles. And the stifle, I was telling the daughter's mother, who's the city girl, that she misaligned her stifle. So I just kept going and talking about the stifles and the fetlocks and good afternoon. Hi, Janet. So I'm checking all the things, and I go through the middle back and then raising her up with the abdominal lift and doing the butt tucks. And the butt tucks were painful because of the area that's roached up or fused there. So I get to the shoulders, I adjust the elbows, I adjust the knees, I move the shoulder blade up, I check her front legs, and that's immediately when I knew that Star had been adjusted before. Now, they didn't know she had been adjusted because she's 17 years old. I will tell you about my play. Okay, well, I'm back. I don't know what happened. It just cut off, but I'm back. Can y'all hear me? Have you put a one if you can see me streaming live? Hello? Let's see if I'm here. Am I back? Can you hear me? Okay. Um, okay, thank you, Mom. Okay, thank you, thank you. Okay. Well, so, I go to the front to the shoulders. Thank you, everybody. So I go to the front shoulders and I start motioning the shoulders and doing the moves. And as soon as I was about to extend her leg out, she extends her leg out. And that's when I knew I was doing the chicken wing move where I bend the leg and then pull it out, and she turns her head the opposite way. And there's certain ways that I know that a horse knows what an adjustment is. So I looked at the owner and I said, "This horse has been adjusted before." And she said, "No, I highly doubt that because the guy that we got her from is a very rough and tough country guy. There's no way." And I said, "Well, the Harris County or the police mounted patrols with different counties and cities actually get their horses adjusted. So he might have been in the rotation to get adjusted, but the officer didn't know. So that was really cool to see. I finished working on the neck and worked my way up the vertebra, and y'all see me do that a lot. And I moved the head around, and her neck was out in 3 places, so she wasn't able to move well. She had a lot of neck misalignments and a lot of middle back. Right shoulder was out of place, her left knee, her right shoulder blade, both her back stifles were out of place. So this poor mare, she had so much out of place. Now, this mare, I was told, could used to walk over mattresses. She was trained to balance and walk over mattresses and glass and all kinds of things that she could do, because you never know what she was gonna come into, what kind of trouble she was gonna be in. So riding a horse in the mounted patrol, they have to be pretty bomb proof. And so Star is really bomb proof. It was amazing. Well, the owner tells me that we have a problem with her and we want to see if there's something we can do to stop this. And I said, "What's the problem?" And she says, "Well, she likes to walk over the cattle guard. And the cattle guard is meant to keep her out of this area so she doesn't poop in this side of the property." I said, "Well, if the horse is walking over the cattle guard, which they don't do," I said, "she probably has been doing that for a long time, and there's no way that you're gonna stop her from walking over the cattle guard." So they were like, "Well, she can't keep doing this." I said, "Well," they said, "she's gonna get hurt." And I said, "I'll tell you something. That horse has more innate intelligence to walk over that cattle guard than we will ever understand. Horses will not put themselves in predicaments most of the time that they know they can get out of if they're trained to do so." So that's a mounted patrol horse that is trained to walk over anything. So I told them, "Don't worry." They said, "Well, what if she hurts herself?" I said, "Well, then that's what you need a good vet for." Well, as I was working on the horse's jaw, there's going to be a layer to this story. I told her she would need a vet in case something should happen. Mobile vet at that, because they had no horse trailer. And if you have no horse trailer, you have to have a mobile vet on speed dial. And then I started working on the horse's jaw. And when I was working on the jaw, I noticed that when I was doing the side to side motion, there was a grinding going on in the teeth. And if you didn't know, fun fact, horses' teeth grow their entire life until they start to slow down when they get to be older seniors. So every year you have to have a dentist come and float the teeth, where they do the file and they shave down the points. They're called points on the teeth because they're very sharp. And this lady, being a city girl, she didn't know. She didn't know she needed to have a dentist come and float the teeth. Um, And then after I told her about the vet needing to be on speed dial and the dentist needing to be done once a year, she asked me when I was finished with the adjustment and helping Star, "Well, when should you come back out?" And I said, "I need to come back out within 3 to 4 weeks." "Well, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that because my husband's not going to pay, this much money every time to be able to get her adjusted." I said, "Well, let me explain. Chiropractic needs to be done in a corrective manner 1, 2, or 3 times when a horse has never had chiropractic. So the horse needed to have chiropractic done in a month and then probably again in another month. And then after that point, the horse is just being ridden 1 or 2 days a week for leisure. The horse could go to a 3 to 4 month checkup." So she understood, but she said, "I'll talk to the husband and see if that's something he could pay for." I said, "Well, it sounds like you need to have, a talk with him about the different things that horses take." Now, here's the funny part. This woman got this horse for practically free. And this is not always a good thing, because when I told her that she would have to have the horse a Coggins check once a year, and a dentist once a year, and a chiropractor maybe 1 to 3 times a year, and then feed the horse and buy hay and buy feed and buy all the things, I said, "You're probably going to spend around $4,000 a year." She looked at me with the biggest eyes and she said, "What did I get myself into? What did I get myself into?" Uh, the funny part is that after she realized, I'm getting to that, Lainey. Thank you. I'm getting to it. Um, After she realized that she needed to have the vet, the chiropractor, the dentist, all of the different professionals to help the horse, and I explained that it's her responsibility. I proceeded to show her that thank you. I proceeded to show her that, she needs to also make sure this horse had a very dirty vagina and a very dirty undercarriage with her teats. Now, horses have two teats, and in between the two teats is this crevice, and they leak an oil that will cluster up and form sheets that have to be pulled off here in the teat and between the teats here in the middle. So I had the lady come over and I raised the horse's tail and I showed her how cluttered up and how gooky the backside of the horse was near the vagina. And she looked at me like, I can't. She goes, I did not get into this. She looked at her daughter. She said, that's all you. I cannot do this. I cannot deal with this. I'm a city girl. I don't do this. I never signed up to clean the horse's vagina or the horse's teats. And I said, "Okay, well, get some soap." She said, "Do they have horse, wipes?" I said, "No, they don't have horse wipes, but you can use a towel and mild soap." And she said, "Can I use are there horse hoo-ha wipes?" And I said, "No, there's no horse hoo-ha wipes, but you can use a wet, warm towel with mild soap. Just be careful not to get it in there, and then get in the teats, and you have to clean it." Now I said, "This is what I do. This is what I know that horses need because they need to be, cleaned." Now, not all the time, but I told her, "Be glad that it's not a gelding because if it's a gelding, 2 times a year you have to clean the actual penis and you have to clean inside the sheath and you have to get in there and make sure they don't have a bean and or you have to have the dentist come and clean it." And she looked at me, she said, "Thank God it's not a gelding. Thank God." She goes, "I would never, no, 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 no." I'm gonna simulate what she was doing. "No, no, no, I didn't sign up for this. I didn't sign up for this. I'm not doing this." She said, "I'm not cleaning this gelding." Now I cleaned out the center of the teats in the middle of them and I pulled out some sheets and I showed the young girl how to do it and how to, you can clean that. Now, why does a chiropractor do that? As a chiropractor, I clean that out because sometimes it's so impacted, you'll see a horse kind of splitting their legs wide and it's like a rub, and so I'm trying to rule out that the rubbing is not from that versus, the pelvis. And so I do clean them out at times. So cleaning it out is very important. So I showed the young girl and she was more than happy to clean it out. And she was well, I would say not more than happy, but she was willing, but she still thought it was gross. She said she didn't know that horses needed this done. So after I showed them this, I told them, there's a certain smell to horses. And when I look back, the city lady who'd never been in the country is in her SUV. She's got the windows down, she's got alcohol out, and she's alcoholing her whole arms, like alcohol, alcohol. I said, Are you using alcohol on your hands?" She said, "Yes, I can't. I just can't. I'm grossed out and I've got to clean my hands." And I said, "Okay." She said, "I'm not a very dirty." She goes, "I've got to go home and take a shower. I've got to go home and take a shower." So it was really funny because, she wanted what I really appreciate about this woman is that she wanted to buy her daughter a horse and make her daughter's dream come true. But she was outside of her comfort zone. She didn't want to be there. She didn't want to, have to deal with those things with the horse. But part of the job of a doctor is to help the horse and to leave the horse better than you found them, but also to advocate for what the horse needs. Like the horse has a horse trainer. Well, the horse needs to have a vet and a dentist and all of the regular checks. Once a year they have to have the vet come and do a Coggins and test them, make sure they're safe to travel. So it was really funny to see her in the car cleaning with alcohol and realizing how much she stepped out of her comfort zone to have her daughter have the dream of owning a horse. So that's my story. It was really special to, see the young girl be so excited that the horse was better, and we got the horse adjusted, and she went back to the field, and she was just moving so much better in her body. The young girl was happy that she was adjusted and happy that she would, feel better. Jessica and I, yesterday, we adjusted Biscuit, a horse that y'all have seen before. Biscuit was doing his usual neck bendy things and trying to help me out. We rode to another horse to see a horse named Chapo, and Chapo has some kind of issue with his ear, and that was causing a TMJ pain. So, like from the ear to the TMJ are so connected, and we taught the owner said, he just seemed uncomfortable and in pain. So we helped him out, got him back to the vet, and the vet's going to check out the ear and the TMJ and make sure it's not something vet wise. Then we left after we did that, and we went to a place called Horse and Soul, and y'all have seen me there. And Horse and Soul, Timber, the horse, is 342 days pregnant. And Timber is the mare that is at Horse and Soul that you guys have seen before. That one was with Tonto. Tonto, the one that has he had the American flag blanket on for the Olympics that time. And Tonto reminded you guys so much of voodoo. And Tonto is so cool. He, uh, he's there, and I just did Tonto, but then I got to see Timber. I've never felt a mare's baby kick, so I asked her if I could feel the baby. So she brought the horse over, and I touched the belly, and I felt the baby kick, and it was so sweet. And she wants me to come back out after the baby's born so we can check the mother and the baby. While we were there, we also saw a gray horse named Peanut, and she had just had a foal a week before, and the foal is black and just a cutest little foal. And when I walked over and she said the foal was black, I noticed that there was gray around the eyes, the nose, and the legs. And they said they think that the baby will turn from black to gray, which sometimes happens. So it was a very good day. A very good day at the two places, and then we went over to meet Star. Star was really special. I love mounted patrol horses. I love that they work for the sheriff department and the police department. And fun fact about mounted patrol, and not Star, she didn't have this, but the horses that are with the prison system in Texas, they have three markings on the side of their shoulder. Now, I learned this when I was at the Miracle Ranch because they had a horse there that was sheriff as well. And they'll have a number, and then they'll have a star, and then they'll have a number. And what I found out is the number on the top is their precinct. So precinct 4, precinct 6, and then the star is their badge, and then the number under is their officer number. So say it's a 4 and a 21, it's precinct 4, officer 21. It was really cool. Didn't see that on Star, but if she was with a smaller department, they might not have branded her. So it was really cool to see that. Well, I that's pretty much my story I had for you guys today. I know that Jamie's going live at 4 o'clock, so I just wanted to be able to jump on before Jamie comes on at 4. And thank y'all for being here today, and thank y'all for listening to Storytime Sunday. I planned on doing a 4 to 5 o'clock Storytime Sunday, but like I said, my mama messaged me that Jamie was going live at 4 with some secret they've been holding on to for a month. So I didn't want to run into that time. So if y'all need to jump off and get to that, I'll understand. If you want to stay around a little longer, I can talk some more or answer any questions that y'all have. It's been a really great week. I do want to talk about the house. So I think someone up above was asking me about the house and asking if we were renting. Lainey is the same house they were living in. It's a rental that they bought. She wanted to know about it. So we decided to pull back and not go to a ranch, and not have Bodie with us, and not have 10 acres. Sometimes you have to pull back to go slow before you go fast. For our situation, it worked out that we could buy the rental house we've been living in for 8 years. We lived here 4 years, moved to our flooded home, and then moved back here for 4 years. So it made sense to buy this house. And the house has a new roof, it has a new fence, it has a new furnace, it has all the new things. So it made sense to buy it. We're planning on living here for 1 year. And then after a year, we're going to rent this home or sell this home and use it to catapult into our ranch. So we're looking at next February or March, January, February, March, start looking for our ranch and our land, and I'm excited. This house is having projects, so we're about to do a couple projects, and I'm going to go live to talk about that another time this week. We're going to have a back patio put on. We're gonna have a new updated kitchen and maybe a bathroom remodel. Our thought is that renting this home, we want to make it really appealing to people, or if we're selling it, we need to upgrade it anyway. So that's our plan. We have our fur babies here. We have Dexter the dog, and we have our four kitty cats, and we have Fiona, Chitara, Marilyn Monroe, and Clyde the cat. Clyde is an orange tabby. So we have our fur babies and everybody's here. We didn't have to move. We bought the house and we stay right here. So it was really cool. We're really enjoying the rental and we're really enjoying, just visioneering what we want for the future. Handsome Tim and I have been making really big, bold plans for the next year or two, and visioneering is really important. I went and spoke with one of my clients the other night. I think it was Friday night. She sells cabbie clothes, and they're like dressy clothes that businesswomen wear. And she was inviting me to speak at a women's conference in September. And I was really excited to hear, to have her ask me. And while we were there, we were talking about vision boards. And I turned to my right, and she had a vision board that was like aloha, and it had like a bedroom suit and all these things. And she was explaining to me that a vision board is really important to be able to pull you to your goals, and having goals is really important. So I think I'm going to make a vision board. I'm going to make a vision board, and the next 2 years are going to be quite exciting for Tim and I. Handsome Tim, he's been posting away. If you guys have not seen his page, it's Scriptures and Skillets with Handsome Tim, and he posts way more than I do. I think that I'm going to start doing more lives so that I do post something, because trying to sit down and edit a very long day of horses is becoming grueling. It's starting to be a 6 hour process to make one video. So we're thinking of making more lives. Like if I'm at a job with a horse, I'll just go live. If I'm cooking in the kitchen with Tim, I'll go live. So more lives mean that you can watch the replays, but it allows me to have more content that comes out sooner. So, well, like I said, it's 4 o'clock. I'm going to jump off and we're going to watch Jamie's live. But you guys stay tuned for more lives, and stay tuned for more lives and more content of different types behind the scenes of a day in the life of Dr. Lauren, uh, which I really appreciate all of y'all's feedback. All right. Well, I will see y'all next Sunday at 4 p.m. and I will have some lives come out. So stay tuned to see all of that. Y'all have a blessed and wonderful day. And remember, you are loved. You deserve it all. You are enough. I'll see y'all next time. Thank you for staying tuned. Bye for now.